Hey gang, Ross Brand here for Ross and Nez. It's been an amazing conversation with Chris Kubbernus, Cubby, all about social media strategy, business marketing strategy for 2018. We've covered a whole range of subjects. It's been wonderful, and there's still more to go. This is the final part 3 of the 3-part conversation, and Cubby's going to talk a lot about advertising in this, and it's really interesting to hear what he has to say about how you should go about advertising your business on social media. He also gets into the negative side of social media, some things that concern him, even as he is an avid social media practitioner, somebody who is very prolific in creating content and working with clients, and just an exceptional all-around guy. Can't wait to share this with you. Let's get right to it. Here is episode 14, Ross and Nez with Chris Cubby.
So McDonald's actually had, maybe a lot of people don't know this, McDonald's actually had child psychologists in their research center, research color. The reason why the arches are yellow, because they literally broke it down to a science where they understood and they employed all these, neuroscientists and child neuroscientists, that the color yellow was the most appealing color to kids. Because as a parent, and I know Chris is a parent, Ross, thank God, isn't a parent. No, I'm kidding. But as a parent,
let me just apologize to the world for not having introduced yet.
I thought you were going to say, let me. We're going to give you an award, Ross.
Yeah.
No, but like Chris, like you and I both know as parents, and there's a lot of parents listening that if your kid wants to go somewhere, you're going there as a parent. You don't have a say, right? Like you don't have a say. I mean, think of the genius of that. They know they don't need to appeal to the parents. Forget the parents. Because if that toddler is screaming, I want McDonald's, guess what? I'm taking my screaming toddler to McDonald's. Maybe I just said how bad of a parent. I just conveyed how bad of a parent.
I mean, you're not a bad parent. Like
lessons from this.
No, I don't think you're a bad parent. I think
kid screams for something, give it to them.
But here's
good thing Nez
here's the thing. I would rather take my kids to McDonald's than have them on social media today.
Ooh, interesting. Why is that? That's interesting.
Yeah, because I believe there is a cost that, as I can, and I even get wrapped up in it. I mean, think about when was the last time you abstained from social media? When was the last time you said, okay, no more, I'm not going to do this for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Like
years. I can't.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm addicted to it. I mean, I think a lot of people are addicted to it. I think my head you guys talked about like, where's your head for 2018? My head is in this a little bit of space of, all right, I think there's something going on here that isn't necessarily good for society and good for us on a bigger level. But right. I understand as a marketer and as a business person the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I have to balance this out and think about, and also I think in the next 5-10 years, where is social media going? Where are things headed? Are we going to start to, I think a lot of people are going to start to maybe not do as much. I think that I'm thinking about it for my kids, like, do I really want them on Facebook? Do I really want them worried about how many likes they get on a post? Right. That is, you know what I mean? Like, do I want, and that's why the Jake and the Logan Paul guys, like, if we go back to this, like,
yeah, I agree.
They're doing ridiculous stuff.
Yep.
For attention and for money. And that's, there's a whole bunch of young kids that are looking at this going, oh, that's cool, that's okay. And I'm not trying to be one of those old curmudgeon guys that's like, oh, those damn kids with their damn rock music,
it's okay.
Turn it down.
Ross is the curmudgeon in this group.
I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just trying to say there's like, there's never 100% upside. There's a little bit of downside to that. And so I think we have to be super careful about that. I don't know how we got on this path of this thing.
I love it.
How did we end up in this zone?
No,
Cubby,
I love it.
It's a great business model for Facebook and Google. you reward people with a non-monetary thing that makes them feel good.
Well said.
And they continue to create more and more and do more and more free work for you in order to get more of that non-paying reward. So instead we give people clout scores and we rank them in top 100s and we talk about their influence, and we promote them to the front page of Periscope and the front page of YouTube, and we feature them when they go live. And so everybody is competing for what again? Because I remember when Blab went out of business, I went down to the bank and I tried to trade in the props, and they're like, no. There's no coin in that. Good luck.
No, it's basically, like you do have to look at the value, right? So is that bringing value? And I think that, like, you guys also asked me, like, what would I say to business owners? I would say, like, what is the value of what you're doing? Make sure you're getting value out of it, other than just, being just, like you said, on the front page of YouTube. Like, that will, the thing is that you can never have enough. You can never have enough of that, right? So the next time you're going to be pushing even harder to get on the front page, because that's the thing that sort of, like you said, is that, I forget what you said. You said it brilliantly. I wish I could rewind this.
I do too. I have no idea what
you hit the nail on the head.
You must be talking to me.
No, I'm not. I'm talking to Ross. You hit the nail on the head, but basically, we can't. Yeah, it's rare. I mean, it's a good thing that we recorded it, because it's a rare. No, I'm kidding, Ross. I don't want to be like Nez here. I'm sorry, man. We can't gang up on Ross here.
He needs it. Trust me, Chris.
We can't afford more than one Nez here.
No.
That was going out of business.
No. Yeah, exactly. But okay, so wrapping this, going back a little bit. Okay. Let me
tell you what you're trying to say, and then you can put it in a post to your
yeah. Okay.
Which is, when you disconnect what you're creating for social from any kind of business objective, or you're not doing it because it's a hobby that you love and you're creating something that you feel is art, then you fall into basically creating content for likes and comments, and and that's where you start going down the slippery slope. Because if you keep it connected to business objectives, or it's just a hobby that you enjoy, then you're not worried about likes. You're worried about what is the dollar amount. And if it's something you enjoy just creating because you enjoy doing it, then you're satisfied with a great photograph or show or whatever.
And a perfect example that Chris brought up was that, here's a guy, Jake Paul, and if you don't know, I'm sure a lot of the listeners and a lot of the viewers know who he is, but this is a guy who has over 10 million subscribers on YouTube, which is considered, you're in the top elite if you have over 8 million subscribers. And, the biggest controversy that's been coming out lately, and just to piggyback on what we're talking about here, about this kind of idea that we have to go for more and more and more. Later, Chris, are you there?
I'm back. I don't know what happened. It just there
it is. Okay, we're back. Yeah. But
we're back.
Just to finish up,
he couldn't take it, Nez. Get to the point.
You remind me of my students. They fall asleep halfway through.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
But here's the cool thing. No, I love it. I've wanted
to do that so many times, Guff.
I usually put smelling salts in Ross's room, so he can stay awake for this.
Yes.
So this guy who has all these subscribers, who doesn't really need to go that nuts, just did this suicide forest in this forest in Japan, which was the internet just completely just ganged up on him, that it was so disrespectful, which it was. And so it speaks to that point. That's all I wanted to say. Can I just?
No, but I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you. I know this is kind of off on a tangent, but it is sort of representative of where we are in society. And
it's a good symbol, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a positive guy, that, but I think it's healthy. I think a lot of people, we've gotten into this place where negativity is negative, if I can say that. Yeah. And I think that people need a healthy dose of criticism, or a healthy dose of of realism to say, wait a second, like,
they
just
take
because
it too personal. They take it too
personal. Just because I say, like, I don't think that, I think that there's something wrong with the way things are going if we're okay with this.
Yeah.
If we're okay with somebody that's, and his brother's no different. Yeah. They are, and you can mask it in as much as, well, they're successful at this and they're creating entertainment and they're no different than X person and Y person and this and that is, people always hide behind these things. And yes. I think it's very important to come out of hiding and say, no, there's too many children, our children, yes. that are watching this, and we're not doing a good enough job to combat this, or maybe we don't care enough about it that we're actually saying, like, and that's why I said my kids won't be on social media.
And what's crazy is
not until they're much older.
And that's smart. I think that's really
45,
smart.
50.
Yeah, something like that. Somewhere in those zones. Like,
and you know what's really scary too, and then we can wrap. What's really scary is that, so Logan Paul's one of the Paul dudes, whoever executed that video, his
name was Logan.
I think it was Logan. You're right. His subscriber rate actually increased by like 70%. Right. Of
course.
It was actually it was actually good controversy for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is again,
but it always is like.
Yeah, it always is. Which again speaks to what you're saying. It's indicative of the culture. It's indicative of the culture now.
Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing with Elvis. We did the same thing with Eminem. We did the same thing with
NWA.
Howard Stern, NWA. We did the same thing. It's like, as soon as there was
good call.
As soon as there was like controversy, as soon as there was like people saying you shouldn't listen to this, it just makes people listen to it. Exactly. It just makes people watch it. Like, it's almost like the news media should have said, well, we're going to support this by covering the story. It's like, anytime you cover like a story, you're basically supporting it now. And I think that has to be, we have to see that and be like, okay, we're not going to, should we take an ethical stand on this? And there is no ethical stand anymore, which is, for better or for worse, but I think there maybe should be.
Chris. All right, last question, Chris, because we mentioned it in the intro, so we will wrap up on a really sexy, exciting topic.
Should we even be saying sexy with us three guys in the same
Probably not, but we're talking about the topic, Nez. 30 seconds or less. Email marketing. Keep doing it, or
yes, let's talk about
drop
it from the agenda.
No, I think that drop it from the agenda. No, I think I don't know, man. Like, that's a good question.
Can I just say, Chris, really quickly, that I hate it. I hate email marketing.
Yeah, you can say that. I think there's bad emails and there's good emails. Like, I think that what's interesting, like, I think that, I'm not religious about a tactic and saying that you should do that. And I think I mentioned that as well. It's like, I think you have to find out what works. I think, and sort of, I'll plug also your idea here about you wanted to be everywhere, and that you had that audaciousness to do that. And I think that as a marketer, I kind of like gravitate a little bit towards that thought, because I feel a little like, okay, if I was Michael Jordan and I wanted to, be the best player in the world at basketball, I would say, okay, what parts of my game do I need to work on? I need to be the best dribbler. I need to be the best runner. I need to be the best jump shot. I need the best 3-point. I need the best dunk. I need the best airtime. I need the best stealing. I need the best rebounds. I need the best blocking. I need the best, you know what I mean? And I think that's how I approach marketing, is I say, okay, I need to be the best at email marketing. I need to be the best at Cura. I need to be the best at live streaming. I need to be the best at podcasting. And that's how I approach my game. And then that's why you kind of see me on all different platforms, is because I'm at least trying to beef up my game in certain areas. So I don't think email marketing is dead. I think that it has a place, just like, maybe the crossover in basketball, or maybe the, a part of a game, I don't know, sports hasn't changed that much, but you know what I mean? Like maybe the no look pass or something like that is, you know, not that in season anymore. And I don't know, like, what do I know? Like,
let's bring that back.
Bring the alley-oop back.
Yeah,
I don't know, the alley-oop, the tomahawk, I don't know, whatever.
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah,
the
you know what I mean. So
2-point jump shot is out the window. You either take a 3 or you get close to the basket, right?
Maybe, yeah. So like, and that's why I say, like, you know, I think it's still relevant. I think you can still be very good at it, and you could be a game changer in it. Like, what's interesting to me is, like, there's old stuff. Like, if you could be the best at print because nobody wants to do print anymore, that's kind of an interesting angle. Like, we do the best print ads in the world, like, because nobody's, you know what I mean? And that happens all the time. You see these in cycles. You see these sort of like,
and then you can actually charge more for it than when print was big and everybody was doing it, right? It becomes
exactly. Yeah, it does. It does. But but you're absolutely right. Like, there's still tons of brands that do print in big magazines like Cosmopolitan or in the New York Times or whatever. It's like, if you wanted to take a niche like that and say, you know what, we are the best at email marketing in the world, nobody does it better than us, then, you know, then you actually have an opportunity there because it's not dead.
So it's not just the medium, it's not the medium, it's not the tool, it's who's wielding that tool, right?
Absolutely, right. And I mean, other than Blab, I don't think anybody should be a Blab expert today or a Vine expert.
Ross, there goes your
We're
job.
the best agency in the world for Blab.
You just took out a stream of revenue for Ross.
You know, every once in a while, I put hashtag Blab into Twitter just to see who's on.
Yes, I love it. Oh yeah, just who's automating it, right? Yeah,
I do that with Catch, which used to capture the Periscope.
Oh yeah.
That's been gone longer than Blab, and yet you'll still come up with a tutorial that's been tweeted in the last.
I'm gonna become the Blab expert. I'm gonna market myself. I'm gonna do Facebook ads. I'm gonna do a video ad where I'm just like, welcome to Blab. I'm gonna be the Blab.
But here's the thing, guys, which I will tell you that is the secret to advertising in 2018. Are you ready? This is the #1 secret, and you just touched on it, okay? Being incredibly self-aware in your advertising, noting that advertising is ridiculous, and going after that in a sort of critique of advertising, a critique of yourself, like, that's what's going to win. So if you went out and did a honest to God, like, you know, I'm the Blab expert, and do it with a little tongue in cheek, that would do better than if you were advertising your regular sort of way. And we're seeing that. Like, for example, the best, what's a good example of that right now? Do you remember the Dollar Shave Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a little bit making fun of advertising in a way.
Yeah.
Sprite also did it. Old Spice recently did it with, like, a dog rocketing off into space, and someone was like, "What? Why? That's stupid." They're like, "Yeah, but it sells deodorant." And they're like, "Really? That sells deodorant?" Yeah, like, lots of stupid shit sells deodorant. And then they went through the stupid stuff that sells deodorant.
Yes.
And that's the sort of self-aware, because we've come to a place now where we know it's advertising, we know it's stupid, but if you are not trying to pull the wool over our eyes, if you're sort of like, we're aware there's wool over our eyes already, and you're playing within that space, then you can do big things. So if you're an internet marketer and you want to, like, play off of what is the criticisms of typical internet online marketers, right, you will do very, very well.
And that wraps up our 3-part conversation with Cubby. Chris Kubbernus was generous enough to join us for over an hour. If you missed any of it, do go to rossandnez.com, subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch all of it as Cubby really shares how he's approaching social media and how you can market your business on social media in 2018 and using all other forms of marketing as well. Really was a wide-ranging conversation. We thank the great Chris Cubby for joining us once again. For Professor Nez, I'm Ross Brand. Take care, everybody.